here are three things that you must have if you are to run a successful creative business like photography or videography. Hi, my name's Jay, and I have been running my business now for nearly over 8 years. And in the last 5 or 6, I have been doing it full time. I have been able to pivot from my old job, which was being a guitar tutor, a musician, to now being a full-time photographer, videographer, and now I help people do the same. So in this video, I just want to break down the ingredients that goes into what it takes to run a creative business like photography or videography, and basically share with you the three things that I think are integral to making this happen. So the first thing is you need a profitable niche. This is very vital, because if you go into something that is not going to make you any money, then you could be knocking on a door that's never going to open. The second thing you need is you need a solution. You need a solution to a painful problem. And how you find that is by looking back into your story and figuring out how you sold something that was painful for you too. So finding a solution to a problem and is really important. And the more painful it is, again, this is going to lead to the first one, the more profitable it will be too. And then the third is making an offer to a client, to a customer, whoever, and making it so irresistible that you're the only choice. You know, you're their North Star. They're the one that you look to, and basically who they want to work with. So to find your profitable niche, you kind of need to find the solution to a painful problem. Now, you'll know this because if you have fixed something in your past, in your story, in your journey, you would have found this incredibly difficult. You would have been at it for a while, and it just, it would have been something that you would have had to really, you kind of probably woke up every day scratching your head thinking, oh, how am I going to fix this? How am I going to make this work? And you would have gone to bed the same way too, just thinking, oh, geez, am I ever going to fix this problem? And if you did, and if you fixed and got a solution to the problem, this is now something that you can create and sell. And if I give an example of my own journey, I was stuck for a good while, just stuck, in the freelancer mindset. That's what I like to call it. I was pitching myself out to here, there, and everywhere, and I was getting work, but I wasn't getting paid, very well. But at the beginning, you're happy with anything really. Like just a £200 job is kind of exciting. It's like, wow, someone's actually giving me cold hard cash for something that I make, I create, and obviously gave me fuel to really go into more depth with this. But at the beginning, I do as much as I can. I would. But as you can imagine as well, after doing as much as I can, I suddenly, after a year or two, I think I pretty much burnt out. I needed to find a new way of doing this where I could, sustainably do this and make money. So that I could quit my job. I was kind of done teaching guitar. This was my previous job. I was kind of done with that, and I really wanted to move on. And so what I'd done was I looked at the market I was in, which was, at the time, I was in content creation. It was kind of the thing that I had noticed that a lot of people needed help with. And I realized that a lot of local businesses didn't have very good video or photography. It wasn't professional enough. It didn't say enough. Their visibility was poor, and the storytelling wasn't good either. So their message, their brand identity, it really didn't speak. And so my plan was to approach these companies, these brands, and offer a solution to their problem. Visibility, quality, professional looking visuals, and that was how I went about this. I drafted up a kind of a package, and I told them how I was going to help them, what exactly I was going to do. And then this is kind of where this idea birthed, is actually, oh, I'm a creative problem solver. So, I was thinking, right, I can offer not only videography, I can offer photography too. And as I kind of went further into this, I pitched to more and more companies and clients, and yeah, I only needed a few to make this work. I got them on a retainer basis, and for a while, this is how I run my business. Soon after, I went, as some of you know, I went down the YouTube route, and really still pleased I went down that kind of avenue. But as I've said before, I've kind of come back full circle, because this is actually a really good business model. Because for a lot of people who I was working with, be it a dentist, a charity, coffee company, etc., all those people, they don't have time to shoot, perform, write a script, get creative, do their research on what is working, what isn't. They don't have time to that. So, like I said, as I built, my offer, this is something that I kind of did for myself as well. And so I showed them what I was doing. I was showing how I fixed the problem. And yeah, they were more than happy to get on board with me and sign a contract for at least 3 months to work with them. And I just basically was a content creator who helped small and local businesses gain more visibility through good storytelling, and more professional visuals. So in a rough kind of way, that was the big problem that I was solving. And so the niche that I fell into was small and local businesses to my area. This is before, I was kind of online, and it was profitable because it was painful enough for the businesses, for the companies. They knew at this time, this was back, around COVID time, they knew they needed to be seen online because everyone was turning up, and if they weren't, you didn't really exist. So that was the the painful problem. I was the only one kind of doing it in the area, so that made it more irresistible. And the offer I gave was, the package that I delivered. I can't really remember off the top of my head what I offered, but it was enough to go, well, look, if you're going to be let's say I said I'd post, every other day, a reel or at least a photograph, or posted something every day, and did it consistently. That solved a problem because they didn't have to do it. And what I realized actually happened is the more I did it for companies, and I kind of learned more, and I was lucky enough to actually get some videos reach well over 1 million views on TikTok and things like that. And that just made my business more irresistible because people were like, well, I want the same for my business. And so, like I'm saying, I think the first thing, if you can do is, obviously picking a profitable niche is kind of, important, but that comes when you can fix a problem that, the more, like I said, the more painful that is, the more money you're more likely to make. And the more money you make by doing this, the more obviously freedom you get to who you choose with. And in the end, I kind of worked with only like 4 or 5 clients, and that really was enough just to keep me going. And it was enough for me to then pursue something like YouTube. And I was able to turn up consistently on that platform. And I don't do that work anymore. I've now sort of pivoted myself. Actually, what I do now is I help photographers and videographers grow a business and go full time. So if that's something you're interested in, I definitely would have a look at the free training below in the description. That's that's going to be everything you need to know more. And if you want to book a call, you can do so through that link too. But as I said, it's still the same. What I'm doing now is still the same thing, because I know how painful it is to want to go full time as a photographer and videographer. So again, the offer I have to you guys out there and what I'm doing, I was able to fix. So if I've fixed it and found out how to do it, it's now in my hands if I want to share that with you. So I hope this kind of makes sense, this video. I'm trying to kind of explain that basically become a creative problem solver. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. If you can fix a problem that is so kind of painful for someone, it's very likely you can charge a very good amount of money for it and start growing a successful creative business. As a photographer or videographer, or like I've said, this is basically business 101. Problem solving is really the core of business. And so if you can find one, I've just go down that rabbit hole, figure out how you can fix it for someone, and then start charging them. Anyway, look, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If you like this new style of videos that I'm doing, where I'm just kind of rambling, then let me know. I am, playing with the format at the moment, as you can see and tell. And yeah, I'm kind of enjoying it. So let me know, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.